Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another day of the video. Darren, how's it going today? Today, it's a Friday. I'm at home today. I don't have to go to lectures or anything because I don't have any lectures, which is good because I've got lots of work to do. But I just put Graham back. We get her out in the mornings. And I tried to film her eating a little chocolate drop before she goes back in her house. And she just literally just snaffed it. She was like, normally sits there and chews it, and it's ever so cute, and I wanted to film it, but she was like, no, I'm eating this. Look how lovely this looks. So she literally just went into the back of her mouth. Otherwise, though, ladies and gentlemen, what's been going on today? Today, so far, I got up at normal time, got up at 6. I've come in here, I've uploaded a daily vlog, I've had breakfast, and I'm designing on my whiteboard how it is that I'm going to do this next process. And I need to, I said yesterday that I needed to move the muddle a bit into the main section. I don't necessarily want to do that. I want the main section to control it, but I don't want it to have everything. So I'm trying to figure out ways of doing that. Essentially I could just do this, but I want to try and pull out these things here to have this, in which case how do I manage the difference between a mutation and a mutant, and how do I control how many of them I have, and all that kind of stuff. And that's the joy I'm going through at the moment. I'm trying to figure out how I can generate, what the process is of going through and finding all of the possible stuff, considering that there's multiple threads. There's potentially it can run in batches, so it can do 1, 2, 3, 4, it can do up to 10 at a time, in theory. So I need to be able to generate a mutant or a mutation that's able to apply, at what level? Does the mutant know which of the 10 threads it's going to run on? Or not? This is the bit that I'm trying to now wrap my head around, and I feel like it's important. Because even if I put it into this top bit, I still have the same problem. So, because I need to have an overarching idea of what's being applied to what thread. Even if I don't care which thread has it, I need to know what's being run where so I don't run it twice and all that kind of stuff. So, do I generate a list of changes that can be made and then cycle through the source and then apply it to the tests to whichever one's available? Or do I go for a different route? I think that's probably the best. If I read the... but then you've got all of the threads read in the same area. Unless I assign a certain thread a certain file, so I say, right, you're allowed to look at this, you're allowed to look at that, you're allowed to look at this. Need to wrap my head around this. I need to have a decent idea as to why and what's going on here. Okay, I think I've got it. It looks a bit messy, but I think I'm there. So, the main controller, this stays as it is. Main controller goes off to startup controller, which gathers the sources using the source controller, builds the sources using the compilation controller, runs a test using the test runner. That then returns an iTest solution, or a list of iTest solutions if we're running in parallel, but let's ignore that for now. iTest solution then gets fed into what I've deemed here as the mutation controller, although I might change that to process controller. I don't know yet. Process controller lives at the same level as a startup controller, so that's just my way of drawing it, so I've got more space. Right, okay, so the mutation controller has within it a mutant controller, which a mutant controller is the same level as these. So it's a module on its own, whereas all of these are modules, that's a module, these are parts of main. Okay, process controller uses the iTest solution to go through and pick out all of the mutations that are possible. When the mutant controller is initialized, which it is done at the beginning of the program, it generates all of the mutants that are able to run. So it will go through and it will generate all of the mutants that we want. So this allows them to choose which ones they want if they want to run a limited batch for some reason. So within each mutant there is a regex, a type. Boolean is matching, mutate, revert. That only cares about lines. It doesn't give a shit about anything other than lines. It doesn't care what class it's in, it doesn't care about the path to the class. It's just you give me a line, I'll mutate it. Simple as. Okay, that's done in the initialized controllers part. So inside the mutant controller we have a list of mutants which are all sat ready to rock and roll. Okay, so get mutation list calls over to build mutations. Well, names are fluid. Build mutations then takes part of the test solutions and goes through them all, picking the places where you can, so it will basically brute force find places where we can run mutants. It will then produce mutations which are a path to the relative file. It's important that it's relative and not exactly, for the simple reason that there may be, like I could pass it thread 10 and then I could want to run the solution on thread 1. That's essentially, or I may run all of this in non-parallel. I don't know yet. How this thing works in parallel is something completely different. Like I say, I'm trying to forget parallelism for now. But I'm trying to keep it all separate so that it could run in parallel in theory, because this will be running in batches. Or no, not yet. This bit runs in batches. Ignore me. So, we need to find all of the possible mutations. I'll pass it all of the iTest solutions, so I have the ability to decide how I want to do it. Because it may work best if I give, like I spin up a thread that searches an entire thing. I spin up a thread that searches an entire file, and then I spin up a thread that searches another file, etc. So, the mutations only care about a relative path, the target line, so the line that's being mutated, and the mutant itself, so it takes part of that. Okay, that then gets fed back to the mutation controller as a list of mutations. So this doesn't know about mutants, it doesn't know about mutation. Well, it knows about mutants because the mutation contains the mutant, but like, it doesn't care what the mutation is. It just knows I have a thing I can change. So, then in batches, based on the number of threads, so it will go through and do 10 at a time. Say we've got 10 threads, it will go through and apply 10 mutations. Run off, do it, bring it back. Applying the mutations takes the specific test solution and the mutation. It will apply that mutation to that test solution using the mutate function down here. It will then return that back up to the main mutation controller, which is then able to bounce out to the compilation controller and the test runner controller in order to build and run the tests. We run the tests, we process the results, and then we clean the environment. The clean the environment goes back to the mutant controller and reverts the mutations. So that will take us back to square one. So we, in theory, there'll be some kind of logic in here that there, inside the revert bit, it will revert the line to what it originally was, based on the regex. It will then come back out and go into in batches. It will then loop through until we have cleared our entire mutation list. So by doing it like this, what I have the ability to do is I have ability here in process results. If for some reason I want to keep that mutant alive, I can then feed that into get mutation list, target it at that file. So I can do like targeted, if I start going down a path and it works, I can then mutate it even further and see how far I can mutate it before something starts happening. So that's the advantage of pushing this to one side and keeping it as like an API you call, instead of having it all embedded in the main. What I'm going to call both of these, I don't know yet. I think this is going to turn into the mutation controller, this is going to turn into the process controller or something similar to that description. But that's the plan. Stan. Shouldn't in theory hit any roadblocks because the mutant controller isn't doing any of this. It never calls out. The reason I had problems yesterday was because this was calling out, or well, this was basically this, just moved over. So I've got no circular dependencies on the fact that this doesn't have to call that, because this is telling that to do really... Basically what I've done is I've reduced the size of the thing that the mutation controller's doing to something much smaller than what I was doing previously. Okay, I think I'm happy with that then, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Programming away, and I just went in here to get some water, but look how dopey Graham is. She sleeps in a tube up here, and she's pushed all her bedding out onto a little ladder thing she's got now. You're such a fool, Graham. Why don't you just sleep in your house? I don't understand you. So I wanted my glasses, which is why I thought it was necessary to come back in here and film that bit, because I was like, well, since I'm going in, I may as well film it. Here you go, glasses. Making the most of every journey I make in this house, goddammit. Right. I'm currently building up my... Well, I have this. This exists, although it doesn't do anything. I'm threading through basically. I want these built. By those built, I mean like one of them. One will do. For now, thank you. It will be really, really, really good. I don't think I can do it, but I'm going to try. With it being Valentine's weekend and shit. I need to change my calendars. Because I don't go to that lab anymore. Stop giving me notifications. What I need to try... What would be brilliant is if I could put one mutant in and run it. And demo that on Monday. But there's a lot of infrastructure to do that. That's the problem. I'm going to push for it. I'm going to try my hardest, but like I say, I'm busy the weekend, so we'll see what we can do. But yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, I've got the process thing. I'm initializing the mutant controller. It's a little bit different, mutation controller. It's a little bit different to all my other controllers, because all of my other ones you could have, oh no, but you could, yeah, I guess. It's a little bit similar. In all of the others, you have different types of... So in the source, you have a different type of source, different types of compilation, different types of test runners. Whereas in this, it's kind of not like that. So it's a bit stranger. It's interesting nonetheless, though. Now implementing this little bit here, this little chunk. Also, 2 weeks ago today, 14 days ago, I'd written my 200th unit test. And I've just made my 300th pass. When will it fucking end? It's an endless battle, this. I'm thinking, before I start moving on to this build, I'm just ring the car insurance company, just get out of the way. I don't want to do it. That's the problem. They want so much information from me. I'm like, why? Why do you want it? Because it's going to be, like, they want it within like 7 days. I'm like, you need to calm your tits. It's not going to happen in 7 days. It's just not. They want... right, let me tell you what they want from me. Some of this is understandable, some of it, in my opinion, isn't. So, they want copies of all of the driving licences, both front and back of the photo card and the counterparts, for all drivers named on the policy. I understand mine, because it's my policy. I don't understand everyone else's. And that's going to be a bitch for me to collect, because Dad's insured on my car. Because he drives my car around. When we was in Norfolk, he forgot as well. When I was in Norfolk, he was like, oh, I need to go, can you move your car out, Jamie, out the way? I need to go to the shops. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he says, I'd drive yours if I was insured on it. I'm like, you are insured on it. You're fully insured. God damn it. So, right, so I've got to get a copy of everything, all that. It's just a ball ache. They then want a copy of my vehicle registration form, the V5. They want every page of the V5. Which I guess is only 2 pages. But it's, why? Why do you want this? I don't know. God damn it. And then they want I understand this one, a copy of my renewal notice or no claims discount. I understand that. They can have that. They can have everything that's mine. They can even have this. Why do they have to have everything else? I'm going to ring them up and I'm like, look. God damn it, ladies and gentlemen. So I've got to do all that. I tried to weasel out of it, essentially, because it's going to be a ball ache. Because A, this means talking to Mum, which is never fun. B, it means that I need to talk Dad through the process of getting his counterpart, because they don't do counterparts anymore, so he doesn't have his. Because he's got renewed and he doesn't have one, which means he's now got to go to a website and fill shit in, which means I'm going to have to talk to him on the phone and talk him through it. Oh, and, oh man, so they want so much information. And it wouldn't be so bad if one of the drivers wasn't who they are, because it means I've got to talk to them. I don't like talking to them. But what could you do, ladies and gentlemen? What can you bloody well do? Reached 310 blurry tests. 1:30, and I think it's lunchtime, ladies and gentlemen, so let's go have lunch. Also going to have a shave as well. I feel quite scraggly. I feel like it's irritated me. So, I'll take my glasses off. I'm going to spend a semi-decent amount of time, like an hour or so having lunch. I'm going to do some odd jobs, like get rid of the washing. So it looks like I always leave it, because I just ignore it in there. And then I feel like Laura comes back. Like, on the weekend, we then both do it. I feel like I should pull my weight, instead of us both doing it all the time. So, make my sandwiches and... yeah, so since we're having an hour, let's put some on Netflix, shall we? Well then, ladies and gentlemen, I've just had dinner and stuff. To be honest with you, I've been pretty unproductive for the past however many minutes. I've put away the washing and things. I wanted to complain about how irritating it is putting away Laura's clothes, right? I'm a guy. I'm a simple fellow, okay? Wardrobe is where you hang up t-shirts and stuff. Just t-shirts all hang up in there. Anything that's not like a top, something you wear on your top half, goes either in the drawers or in here. And that's like my jeans go in there. Everything else goes in here. So I've got like underwear and pyjamas. In fact, I don't even have any of the drawers. Oh, and then I've got shorts and stuff in that drawer, but obviously I'm not wearing shorts anytime soon. But like Laura's got like some trousers hang up, they've got like jumpers in here. She's got like underwear and pyjamas, well, underwear drawer, pyjama drawer, t-shirt drawer, sports drawer. I don't know where any of that shit goes. Also, I'm gonna go and check the post. Graham is chilling in a tube like an absolute rebel. And otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, although I have some stuff that I need to send off to some companies. God damn it. God damn, it takes so fucking long to deal with this kind of shit. I had to make a blog post about it really, because I haven't even told any of you guys about it. Anyway, it's on my list. Blog post to write at some point in my life. Programming needs to get back into it. But I've got an email back from recruiter the other day saying that the company is happy to give me an offer, a job offer. So they are emailing it to me, the contract and stuff for me to peruse. So I'm gonna have to have a look at it. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't particularly know. We'll see. I think I'll probably sign it. It just looks. Yeah, I haven't seen the contract obviously, but it's exciting. It means I should have a job and it's all secured. I don't have to worry. But I probably will talk to some people first. Just to be sure that I'm not jumping in feet first into something that is under me or something. I don't know. The problem is, you see, there are people that I can ring to like basically sort myself out with a job, and those people will obviously say don't do it. But this is secure, you know? So anyway, I'm going to get back into some programming because it's been fucking ages. I haven't done any in a long time. Oh gosh, how do you Alt-tab through stuff nowadays? You don't, do you? Oh right, you actually press Alt instead of Windows. I'm on this bit. Oh, I just want to build just my first little mutant, and I don't know how to go about it. I think it's going to be hard. Time jump, ladies and gentlemen. A significant time jump as well, because it's 11 o'clock at night. The reason this is going to be hard is because of this. I started writing my first mutant, and I realised how difficult it would be to use a regular expression there to recognise the thing that I'm going to change. I started playing around with some regular expressions, trying to build what I wanted, and I realised it was going to be pretty difficult. And there's many reasons why I wanted to stick with regexes. Regexes are, in theory, they're nice and stupid. They don't really care. Like, essentially I've given it plain text. There's no extra information that's required in any way, shape or form for it to work. Which means that, in theory, if I go and run this against the Java program, the syntaxes are similar, the regular expression should still work, and I could just recycle code left, right and centre. However, the problem with regular expressions is that they are very dumb, and there's probably going to be lots of instances where they make errors, or where they highlight things that they shouldn't highlight and cause me problems. So I was trying to figure out a way of doing this properly, and I started looking into different tools of which I could use to do that kind of stuff. And I stumbled around, trying to look for essentially a thing that would be able to read and understand C# code, and then I can edit code as an object instead of editing plain text in the background. And something kept cropping up, and I've heard it mentioned a couple of times before, either by people who've commented, specifically Chris, and other places online, and I think some people I've spoken to as well when I mentioned the project. A couple of people have mentioned this thing called Roslyn, which is a library for a library/API thing for the .NET framework, which can parse C# files, and it can parse an entire solution. So it's not even a case of I have to run it on a C# file, but I still might try that. Because in theory, all I need to do at the moment is change this, and it should, in theory, still work. But I don't know. I might start feeding it and think I've got to play with it a bit. But anyway, so by the looks of it, although I haven't tried the code, I found code snippets online which literally do a mutant which I wanted to implement today. In like 5 lines. The lines are beastly, but they're huge lines, and they're going to be a pig to test. It's probably going to be a case of I don't test them to the same length that I'm currently testing them. I just kind of black box test them instead of my usual to the nail testing. But I think I found what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to be moving my mutations to be away from plain text to this Roslyn method. The disadvantage, like I say, is it's going to be harder to then support a different programming language because it is literally locked down to the .NET framework, although I could very easily do VB. But I don't really care. C# is the biggest market for this anyway. But anyway. Otherwise though, Laura came back. We had dinner, which is this lovely like Italian pasta thing with pancetta and stuff. It's absolutely lovely. And then we wandered on out. We went for a walk around the block, and we came back and picked up some steamed toffee pudding for pudding as well, since we were partially celebrating my job offer as well. And now we're heading for bed. It's 11 o'clock. It's surprising because Laura's normally fast asleep by now, so we're impressed. Tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going out for a meal. But otherwise, I don't really know. We don't really have a plan. I'm doing a little bit of work, but we might also be going to town and stuff. I don't know. I want to sink my teeth into Roslyn at some point, because I need to experiment with it before I need to have a rough idea and experiment with how it works before I start locking down parts of this. Although I don't think much of it can change. I think it will literally just go, this bit change. I don't know. I'll catch you later.